This week on Silver Screen, we're halfway through Black History Month, have a preview of next week's production of Beauty and the Beast, and get to know Dutch Fork's wide receiver coach. Good afternoon, Dutch Fork. Today is Friday, February 17th, and your Silver Screen report starts now. Since 1976, Americans have designated February as a time to highlight the lives and history of African Americans. Here's Bailey Hunter with the story.
Black History Month is a national observation every February that celebrates the lives and accomplishments of African Americans.
I think in the 1920s it was Black History Week, and it was to commemorate the birth of two famous African Americans. I think it was Booker T. Washington, maybe W.B. Du Bois. But anyway, it started as a week, and it was, I think, kind of voluntary. And then at some point it shifted to a month, and now it's the whole month of February is Black History Month.
We do come together and celebrate the culture and learn and really bring out the attributes and the contribution of the Black people.
Black History Month is a month that is set aside to go over a lot of the accomplishments and achievements of African Americans to our United States history.
Black history is very significant to people for many different reasons.
I do too believe that it is very significant to Dutch Fork High School because there's a lot of young Black people who are here, and they really need to be empowered by the stories.
We kind of reflect on the accomplishments of African Americans. A lot of African Americans achieved a lot of things coming out of our school here at Dutch Fork High School. So we want to just kind of go back and look at the different things that many people have achieved.
This month brings together the students and staff of Dutch Fork as a whole.
Black history brings everyone together by acknowledging of the accomplishments of African Americans. It brings everyone together because we are one, we are a family here. And once we know what everyone else has done and what their achievements are, we can begin to understand each other.
There's a bit of an argument about it that maybe it shouldn't be just 1 month, it should be the entire year, just like all other history. And as a history teacher, I see the value of teaching everyone's history all the time and not designating 1 month. But the fact that we have designated 1 month, I think really gives us an opportunity to highlight, the accomplishments.
This has been Bailey Hunter with your Silver Screen Report.
The SAT word of the week is foster, a verb meaning to simulate, promote, or encourage. Earlier this year, we brought you 2 stories focusing on seniors' path to graduation. In our 3rd installment, Caleb Hanna has an inside scoop on both graduation and scholarship opportunities.
As the year comes to a close and the days till graduation get closer, there's a few things that seniors should be keeping focus on.
Seniors should stay focused on doing their work and doing everything that they can to finish the senior year with good grades.
They have a copy of their contract, their senior contract, that they would have worked out with their counselor at the beginning of the year, and those are the things that they need to make sure that they pass so that they have enough credits to graduate.
Scholarships can be a great tool for students going to college next year. There's multiple regulations for different scholarships, so make sure to check and see which ones you can apply for.
We start getting a lot of local scholarships. In fact, we got 2 yesterday that came in for $5,000 from the Urban League, and we have gotten several that are local scholarships. So they can find those by going to the Dutch Fork website, clicking on school counseling, and then clicking on scholarships. Or they can come in and ask us about them if they can't find them.
For the underclassmen, a few things to keep in mind is to get scheduled to take the ACT and the SAT test if you haven't already, and to go ahead and get an idea of what colleges and scholarships you want to apply to.
Some people want to go to a large university in a city. Some people want to have a small college out, like a liberal arts college that might be located a little further from town. Some people want a small college that's located near a big city. There are just lots of things to ask yourself, like, what do I want in a college?
And for seniors, keep in mind that even if you've already been accepted to a college, university, or technical school, that how you finish out the school year can still affect that. So make sure to not let senioritis take over by keeping your GPA up and staying consistent with turning in work on time. This has been Caleb Hanna for your Silver Screen Report.
You only have 2 more weeks to vote for this year's Young Adult Book winners. Mia Perry takes a look at the Book Award program as well as the nominees.
All the books nominated for the Young Adult Book Awards are diverse and offer a unique reading experience.
South Carolina Young Adult Book Award program is sponsored by the South Carolina Association of School Librarians, and it's a list of 20 books that are chosen by librarians, by students, and by teachers as the best books from the past 3 years.
Obviously, these books have been chosen for a reason. They are well written, or they have some really interesting or innovative content, and those books come from a variety of genres. They're all young adult, and students can read them and vote for their favorite.
Basically a list of books that is like they've all won an award for some purpose. Either they had a really good story, or they had like a good moral lesson.
And they're usually pretty diverse, a lot of different kinds of books from fiction to nonfiction. And then it gives students their chance to say, these are the kind of books that we like to read.
It would encourage them to read more, and it would get them more choices.
I think it's also a great way for students who aren't sure what books to pick. It gives them a straight list of 20 to choose from, and they really can't go wrong with any of those books.
Competition is very stiff, and many of the books participating are quite popular.
Back in 2011 or something, I want Ink Death to be part of the YAVA Book Awards, because Ink Death was so colorful, and even the cover was colorful, but really the story was just very vibrant. And
I would like a book that would want to win. It's called The Tunnel Vision, about this boy who can see different objects and see where they came from.
On the current list, I've read the book All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, and it's really good. It's probably the one I'm reading for right now.
The class bestsellers offered at Dutch Fork give students a chance to read these books and even interact with various authors.
The bestsellers class, we contact all of the authors on the current Young Adult Book Award nominee list, and we ask if they'd like to Skype with us. And so when they do, we get to ask them about their book and about their writing process. It's a really fun thing.
The teacher gives us different, choices that there are. We do sometimes different crafts.
Voting ends the 24th, so be sure to participate. This has been Mia Perry with your Silver Screen Report.
We're officially a week away from Drama's production of Beauty and the Beast. Autumn Franklin takes us behind the scenes.
As preparation for Beauty and the Beast continues, performers work on getting into their characters for the play.
I am playing Belle, and I relate to this character because she's kind of an outcast. People think she's different because instead of focusing on her looks, she focuses on, books and her intelligence, I guess. And I would say that that's been me, because I don't really focus much on how I look like. I always focus on what I love to do.
I'm playing Mrs. Potts in this show, and I feel like it's a good fit for me because Mrs. Potts, she's kind of the mother of the show, and she has a pretty mature voice, and my voice I feel like has a lot of depth to it, and I've been throughout my theater career here, I've kind of been given the roles, the mother roles, so it's kind of an easy part for me to play.
Because the theater program is one of the smallest groups at school, putting on a play is one way for the program to grow.
I feel like sports cast a shadow almost on all the other arts programs, and I feel like not many people care about them, so I feel like this would be a good way to get the theater department more notoriety.
It's a very large-scale show, so I think if people come see it, they'll be interested in doing what we do, and I love it, and I hope other people can learn to love it as well. It's a lot of fun, it's a great time, and it's a good thing to do.
You will have multiple opportunities to catch the performance.
Come out on February 24th at 7 p.m., February 25th at 2 and 7, the 26th at 2.
This has been Autumn Franklin with your Silver Screen Report.
For this week's Kids in the Hall, we asked students about their favorite Disney characters.
I would be Tarzan because I've got the hair going for me, and he lives out in the jungle, which is pretty cool.
I would want to be Lilo from Lilo and Stitch because she's weird and original, and I like that about her.
Lilo, just because that was my favorite movie growing up.
I would be Mushu from Mulan because that guy's a dragon, and I would love to be a dragon.
Today is the first edition of a two-part series profiling the journey of Fox's wide receivers coach Jason Barnes. Trey Martin sat down with Barnes to hear his story.
You played at Independence High School under Tom Knotts himself. What was he like from a player's perspective?
He was a big-time perfectionist, just doing things the right way, his way. He's the type of guy, if you think you're going to come in and do it your way, you won't be playing for Independence very long. And he's just hard-nosed coach. I mean, one of the best. So when you come in, you're ready to listen to him. You're ready. If you want to be great, if you want to win, then that's the program you want to play for. He's the coach you want to play for.
As a highly rated recruit, you came down to North Carolina and South Carolina, but ultimately decided to play at South Carolina. So how did Coach Knotts prepare you to play at the next level?
Oh man, he taught me everything. Like as far as just holding myself accountable, just looking at the man in the mirror. You can't depend on nobody else to make the play. It's on you.
So what was your favorite moment playing at Carolina?
Oh well, my favorite memory playing South Carolina when we beat Alabama. That was probably one of the best games ever, one of the best feelings ever. They was #1 in the country. Had Trent Richardson, Mark Ingram. Had a whole bunch of big-time first-round draft picks. And I mean, we did too, but we were still underrated, and we tore them up. Garcia had probably one of the best games he had in his life. Alshon Jeffrey had one of the best games he had in his life. And I mean, we took care of business and won in Williams-Brice for our crowd. I remember my first game playing was at LSU. And it was raining. It was on CBS, a 3:30 game. That was my first game starting. And we lost that game. And this is how I knew I was surrounded by a bunch of losers. Because after the game, I was in the locker room and I was crying. I was a freshman. I was only 17 years old in the SEC playing a big-time game. And I wanted to win that bad. I was in the locker room crying. And everybody else was like laughing and playing and stuff. And I'm looking around like, well, what's wrong? Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never been around guys like this. Like, so I mean, that's when I realized that was the main thing wrong on the team. We had a whole bunch of losers on the team, but then that's why the one thing about our recruiting class, we was the #1 recruiting class in the country when we went to South Carolina, and we all became one. Me, Melvin Ingram, Chris Culver, Wesley Saunders. We all became one, and we said we was going to change the tradition of the program. Travian Robinson, Cliff Matthews, Mark Barnes, we was all winners, and that just changed the whole program around from that day.
Thanks, Trey. Make sure you tune in next Friday to see part 2 of Trey's interview with Coach Barnes. And now for some announcements. Tuesday is the last day to participate in NRAC's Toy Drive to benefit Palmetto Health Children's Hospital. Donations are being accepted in Miss Newton's room 310. Are you interested in being a part of next year's newspaper yearbook or silver screen staff? Come see Ms. Gascon in room 250 or Ms. Medlock in room 252 for the Google Classroom group code and to learn how you can be a part of our award-winning journalism program. Are you ready for next week's Palmetto's Finest Visit? Dutch Fork is one of the final 2 schools, so remember to show your Dutch Fork pride and remain reputable, responsible, and respectful. Because of President's Day, Monday is a school holiday. Tuesday will be an A-Day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.